And we're back for Team Virtus Pro versus xGame.kz, our second of 4 matches on the day. Welcome in, everybody, to the Beyond the Summit coverage of Starladder Season 10. I'm your host, LD. I'll be joined here for this one once again by Blaze. Hey, Blaze. Let's see, do I have you unmuted? No, there we go. Hey, Blaze, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Looking forward to see what Virtus Pro Prime has to bring to this game here. Obviously, had some issues in the last one getting off their feet a little bit, but xGame.kz might be a little bit of an easier opponent for them to go up against. And it isn't going to be just a standard game here. We're going to be seeing some interesting picks come out already from xGame. They open up with this first phase, Naga Siren Disruptor, and as far as the combo goes, it's quite clear. Naga Siren will set up the kinetic static, and we'll see what they can do with it, with all that lightning flying about.
Yeah, and just quickly looking at the team's records going into this one, guys. xGame.kz, oh, they've struggled. They're 2-8, Virtus Pro 3-2, still well in the mix, and but do need to start putting some wins on the board. You can't, I think, like around that 4 to 6 losses is where you become borderline as far as having a chance to qualify. If there's a tie, of course, I think it's head-to-head for the first tie, and if it's a multiple-team tie, then it goes generally to tiebreakers. But yeah, with that said, They've got to start putting wins on the board, especially against teams like xGame.kz, because there's still plenty of tough opponents. You'll see your Secrets and Navis that VP have yet to play. And yeah, like you said, xGame.kz, we saw this actually. Was it the game that FY played? There was a game where FY played Disruptor and built Ag's Refresher, and I think they had a Naga to set up his double ult.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So that's where I most remember it from, that pre-TI4 era. But why don't we see more? Why don't we see more Disruptor, do you think?
I mean, it's hard to say, because honestly, he was very meta-relevant when he got... he didn't necessarily get buffed, but what ended up happening was all the other supports got a minor nerf in 6.81, and it was enough that I thought that he would actually become like the forerunner, because he's already considered pretty much a tier 1 support. But it just didn't really gel with how a lot of teams wanted to play. People were learning more and more to just TP to tier 2s instead of tier 1s and getting glimpsed. People were kind of reacting to his play a little bit better, and in general, I don't think that vision is as valuable as it used to be, because the ward placement is somewhat more unpredictable between these kinds of teams. Like, you play some wards where you know they're not going to get sentryed, because these sentry patterns have been in existence for the past couple of months. So we usually see a more visible map. Thunderstrike isn't as valuable of a skill, and when it comes down to BKBs, we're probably going to be able to pick them up within a time frame before Disruptor becomes extremely relevant.
Yeah, and with that, we'll see Bat Rider banned out now by VP. It's obviously frustrating to play against both Bat and Disruptor Glimpse. At that point, the pickoff potential for xGame.kz gets a little ridiculous. And I'm wondering if we're going to see something that Bat counters. I'm thinking of your Tinker in particular for VP, but that's actually been banned out, so wonder what else they might have in mind that they would feel the need to remove a Bat Rider. Because he's not that great against Razor, right? You lasso him, and then you get hit by the unstable current, and you barely move. So, trying to think what else the Bat would particularly be good against. Ember's also banned, so...
Yeah, it's an interesting idea as far as like what it might be looking for. Obviously, it's a good overall hero no matter the case, but I guess just offlane options. There seems to be a bit of a limited pool for when Stalkat goes in the offlane, or whoever's going to be going for it for xGame, like what they can accomplish. Usually, it's going to be Doom if anything else. But yeah, I think here Virtus Pro might just want to follow up with their support first and foremost to get the roaming combo with Jotum. Give, I guess, the Shadow Demon to them, along with the Mirana Razor, and they're already going to have a good kind of bread-and-butter combo. It's also decent enough at reacting to the situations at hand. With the big Disruptor, you get caught inside the field. Well, if the Shadow Demon's outside, then you're going to be able to remove it. If the Naga Siren's trying to Song TP, then you're going to be able to negate that impact. So I think that Shadow Demon would be just a good pick at the first half of this draft, so that they can make sure they can respond to what's already on the board. But I think as far as cores go, they need something that just goes BKB, because Disruptor tied, they just warrant the BKB far too much. We're kind of seeing this, I don't know, TI3 level strat.
Yeah, it's also nice to pick up the Disruptor first, as he does somewhat counter Tide. I'd say one of the better supports anyway. You can't crack and chill off the Static Storm. So at the same time, there's still other heroes out there if they want a solution to Tide. There's the Doom, though his relatively weaker laning might be a drawback that VP don't want to deal with, and Yeah, they get the Jada Mirana in the first phase. Now I'm wondering, like, you mentioned the Shadow Demon would go nicely with Mirana. The more aggressive support on the Scarith Mage is also out there, and something that we've seen a lot of from VP in the past. So, curious to see if they go that route again. It's, for now, it's a Jakiro. So, this will be probably their offlane farmer, and we'll still need to see another support and probably a safe lane, I'm guessing, if this Razor ends up going mid.
That's interesting. I mean, Jakiro definitely has his merits, but I'm still trying to figure out what their tempo is for this draft. Obviously, John Morana, he's going to create openings where there are a lot of early kills, and so they can kind of start going for snowball momentum before they have to start worrying about these big Disruptor ultis. I mean, we've seen games where Disruptor gets so shut down that even when he gets the ultimate, it doesn't really make that much of an impact because he's so slow, so short range. But yeah, I mean, the draft is going to be interesting for both sides here. We know that Mirana is going to be support because Jotum just is too damn good to not give it to him. So I'm guessing, yeah, they might go for a bit of an aggressive try type play where the two supports that roam bottom quite frequently, and they're the Jakiro would be great. But that means that somebody's going to have to stay in the safe lane for majority of the time solo. Razor's good at that, but I don't know who else I would favor against the Tide. Definitely not a melee hero, since Tide wins almost all melee matchups. Like, I think Darkseer and maybe Brood would be a fringe, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, they could look to lane the Razor against him, and then I guess they would need someone else to go with the mid lane. So, who's going mid for xGame.kz is the question. If it's a Naga mid, there's no Ember. One of the heroes we often see to not necessarily counter Naga, but just get a lot of farm and late game potential out of the lane to kind of equalize things. xGame.kz are expecting the mid Razor though, so they ban a safe lane / off laner here in the Void, and we'll have to see if VP have the same thought process in mind.
Yeah, I think that the Naga going mid would be pretty suicidal. Not only lining up against the Razor most likely, but also the fact that they don't have any counter roaming supports. You're not going to get an Earthshaker to help your situation on the mid lane when the Jakiro, the Mirana and Shadow Demon come out to play and start arrowing you in the face. This Naga Siren, if she goes in the mid lane, is going to have that much more trouble and is going to get shut down that much more frequently. So I think there's a lot of value in just putting in the safe lane and finding a good survivable and escapable solo mid.
Well, Puck certainly fits all those requirements, so nice hero this game, and I think especially good against Shadow Demon. Gives you a way to just burst him, prevent him from getting off that defensive disruption, and xGame.kz, pretty heavy team fight, a lot of pick-off potential as well, like a very well-balanced draft in general. And looking at their lanes, I mean, your Puck's still going to struggle quite a bit against Razor, but unlikely to die as long as he doesn't horribly misplay or get really unlucky with runes. And decent against the roaming prowess. So, yeah, I think he's a decent choice here. And we'll see what the Tide gets as a 1v1 matchup. Maybe it's just even dual lanes from Virtus Pro. With a Jakiro +1, they could go for like the Undying if they want. And then run a Mirana as a core and a Shadow Demon supporting her in the safe lane. But well, if they're running those two as supports, then they'll need someone else to take on the farm.
That'd be interesting. I'd like to see like an Omni Knight or something really interesting where like you can get the magic immunity, you can get a little bit of extra teamfight juice. I don't know. They're going to go with the OD here, which isn't bad in some extent, but it's not like you're up against a lot of low intelligence heroes. I think the best thing about the OD here is how he's going to be able to destroy the Naga Siren illusions really easily. Like, he's obviously gets the bonus damage from Arcane Orbs, so Naga Siren's illusions will be handled, but as far as like his actual ultimate damage, well, there's plenty of int gain on heroes like Puck and Wind Ranger that it's going to be so-so. But it's a hero that can go BKB, and I think that's really important against xGame's lineup. And like I said, he does have a lot of potential against Naga Siren in particular.
Gives them 2 disruptions as well. So between Astral and Disruption, lots of ways to deal with the Disruptor ultimate and potentially to protect allies who get jumped by the Puck. So I do like it in that sense. And OD's actually surprisingly tanky. Good base armor, decent strength gain, and normally not the easiest here to get onto in a fight because he can kind of sit back and just wait for the right opening to go in. So I think he'll be one of the tougher customers in this VP lineup to bring down. And well, with that, the draft's complete, and we're probably looking at an offlane Jakiro. Sadoy will be handling that. So then either just a straight offensive tri-lane or a dual roam. I imagine Jotum and Yol will kind of see what the lanes are looking like and make their decision accordingly.
Yeah.
And then you've got G, who can take the mid lane versus the Naga and dominate her if she ends up going there, or if it's a Puck, will dominate him too. So regardless of who goes mid, will have a great time. And for BZZ, if he gets the 1v1 against the Tide, or if the OD does, like, they should win these solo lanes, assuming they're 1v1 matchups, no matter what the lanes are.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of value in that early game aspect of their draft. But Virtus Pro, I mean, there is still like what they're going to accomplish in the kills. It's going to be what sets the tempo of the game in general. Like, I think that obviously, well, we know that if Mantis farms up on this Naga Siren and gets to Radiance level, that there's going to be some issues for Virtus Pro. Even if they do have the Arcane Orb, even if they can disrupt Naga and take some temporary illusions for themselves, it's just going to be so much better off if they ramp up the tempo. So whatever gets them the most kills in the early game and enables their cores to get that early boost of momentum is probably going to be the first course of action. I expect them to probably invade the enemy jungle, since their level 1 fight is, by comparison, pretty good. And maybe they'll even smoke for it just to try to really sock it to them with the first blood.
Well, with that, we'll go ahead and introduce the players, and everyone has selected their heroes now, so hopefully get underway with this one soon. But VP 3-2, still in the hunt. xGame.kz 2-8, nowhere near the hunt, and just hoping to basically keep themselves around for the next Starladder season. And with that, we start with G. He'll be playing your Outward Devourer going mid lane. He's been really under the gun the past few games, just constantly getting ganked and pressured. Really struggled to have an explosive start, at least here in Starladder. Jadam will be playing his signature Mirana. Hasn't been quite as impactful on his other supports, but this is the one that he's made waves on in the recent past. BZZ is perfect, will be on the Razor. That leaves Sadoy as the Jakiro, and then Yul will be playing the Shadow Demon. Meanwhile, on the side of xGame.kz, Whatafaka will take the reins of the Puck. Stallcat will handle the offlane Tide. Mantis going to be playing the defensive tri-lane Naga Siren. That puts Reeves on the Disruptor, and Equal as a support Wind Ranger, most likely.
Yep, so we got the little pause to start us off here, but that just gives everybody time to get everything together. The early item pickups are already figured out, and they're going to be well on their way here. It's going to be double tangos for Sadoy, so he can sustain the lane well enough, and it is going to be a couple of clarities for Jadam, one for Yul. So a lot of roaming, a lot of spellcasting intended, and I love the boots first on Shadow Demon, to be honest. Like, they won't actually get sentries out early on to maybe go for dewarding, but they will have so much more kill potential if Yul leads the charge. For now, they're going to smoke up with Jadam in the front, but if Yul gets there and is able to get a disruption on anyone, they're going to get some kills.
And with that, yeah, they have the boots out as well in Yul, so he'll be extremely fast moving in towards this bottom lane. And even a Puck is potentially a kill if you get the arrow on top of the disruption just in time. And oh, they'll find Whatafaka to start this off. Disruption's there. Arrow connects, no chance to even skill and ability. Whatafaka's done for. What a bad way to start the game for him.
But, I mean, that's what Virtus Pro want. They want to make sure Mantis' life is going to be extremely difficult. He's going to go for a bottle rush on the mid, just 2 tangos, pooled, and 2 iron branches. So they're going to be trying to make sure they rotate on him as quickly as possible. But this ward does come out. This Observer ward is an interesting place because it gives them some vision that probably won't be dewarded, but all the same, it's definitely not where you normally would see it.
Yeah, it's more about just the roaming. To me, like, this ward is so if they try to gank mid, and assuming they go offensive trying, that they'll probably see that rotation. But if there's smokes involved, then that's not going to be the case. And right now, Jadam's sitting on 1 smoke, none on the Shadow Demon, but they can certainly look to buy more if they choose to do so.
Sure.
So it's a good ward. I think more than anything just to scout rotations, but yeah, not quite as useful if the Mirana's firing arrows like from the jungle over here, if they are sitting in the tri-lane. But it will already be paying off as Yul and Jada move towards mid. They are scouted out. Meanwhile, Reeves trying to harass G back a bit. They know that this is a very tough matchup, and it is in fact the Naga mid, not tri-laning, as you were thinking. So, well, not a fun lane for her against OD, that's for sure. But,
yes.
But might be going down here if they get off a disruption.
Yeah, we'll see. They obviously know the position, so Mantis is not going to go too far out here. It means he gets no CS, but it also means he doesn't die. He can just get the bottle through the natural unreliable gold. But he's got to know that Mantis knows. Mantis would be up on the creep wave otherwise, so at this point, they're going to go back into the jungle. They're going to see that camp is not spawning, and they might have an idea as far as wards go. They'll still go.
To start, disruption to follow. Now the arrow coming in. It's perfectly placed by Jadam. And his bottom's off to a good start. Riptide trying to turn this one. Will get the kill on Yul, but they get the Naga kill first and foremost, so well worth it there. As Reeves will collect a little bit of experience. Hits level 2, but Naga missing CS and already being harassed as she returns. Astraled, and suddenly G's up to level 3. Although he will take quite a few tower pot shots for this. That's annoying.
He's going to actually correct himself as a result of that. But yeah, it's interesting because, of course, the Disruptor does get to go to level 2, so it can prevent dives in the future. But I don't know. I just the range of initiation for this Boots for Shadow Demon is absolutely insane. And now they're going to even get a smoke movement here. It was not seen. This should be another kill up on the top lane. The Tide's a really difficult target, so maybe just go for the Wind Ranger. They've been landing these arrows perfectly, so they might not even have to worry about the Wind Run. But we'll see. Right now, Stalkat doesn't even have any points in Kraken Shell, so as easy a kill as any.
Yeah, as ever a Tide can be, but they'll start it off with just a little liquid fire harassment, and now following up with Disruption.
Creeps.
Arrow not available because the creeps aren't cooperating, so they'll try and wait for a better angle for this to fly. It connects on Stallcat, but Stodoy, one more auto attack would bring him down. The creeps, and that one last plink from the Wind Ranger enough to seal her fate as they chase.
They have to leap, though.
Has a Wind Run, trying to save it until he's a bit closer to the tower.
Reeves.
And now Reeves rotates it with a haste rune. Not sure how much he can get accomplished here. Gets off the kinetic field. Yo with Disruption in 1 second. Can he get it off in time? Yep, Disruption's there, but not before his buddy goes down. Ice Path, not catching anyone, just kind of zoning equal back, but that was fine for him, as he was looking to fire a power shot during that time. Yol into the trees, Stallcat forced back. And when the dust settles, it's 3-3.
Oh, Yol's gonna get another, or Reeves is gonna get another one onto Yol here. He did go for a nice little tango play, but then immediately keeps moving. And of course, the Radiant still have that Observer Ward in place, so they immediately see him, get the Thunderstrike to get the kill. So that costs him a clarity, that costs him a life, and it's gonna be 4 for 3 in favor of X game actually.
All of a sudden, didn't seem like it would be after the way this game began. Unfortunate thing for Reeves is he's in the middle of nowhere, and they're tracking him down now. John is there to greet him. Take that, sucker, he says. Soul Catcher to follow this up, and they've got a leap to finish him off. Reeves trying to live with that Tango regen, disrupted. They go for the full Warcraft 3 surround. Perfectly done. The neutrals not cooperating. They're just hitting Jotum instead, and in the end, they'll get the kill. So they get their revenge on Reeves, and they make it 4-4.
It's a nice reliable goal for Gias. He goes in for the assist radius, and he does get his boots coming out in the courier next. But yeah, they're just trying to remain unpredictable here, the movements of the Shadow Demon Mirana. But that creep wave was kind of mismanaged by the Shadow Demon. After he disrupted, if he had walked a little bit to the left, he probably could have pulled the oncoming wave away, and that would have opened up for the arrow. But they're just going to go on mid here. Oh, once again, the creeps coming out.
The timing on these past 2 ganks has just not been there for them. Both times, it's right when the creep wave arrives. And meanwhile, the Jakiro ends up going down top lane. xGame.kz, 3 heroes converging, will kill him off. And almost got the Tidehunter as a trade, but unable to do so. Yeah. There's been very little farming this game. The only farming getting done is on the side of VP. And they have 20 CS on 2 of their cores. The OD and the Razor, as expected, having a really easy time.
Yeah, and that's I mean, that's even fairly low for this period of time, but they in general, by point of comparison, they're doing extremely well. Wadafaka, actually, won't break the static link. BZZ keeps this just based on positioning. The phase boots movement speed, he actually might have this. One more right click, but Sav under tower does have the phase shift as well, and BZZ just happy to whittle him down.
Yeah, that's good harassment still, and Wadafaka is out of mana, so if he overextends here with no phase boots, not even treads picked up, he will not be getting away from Razor, and he'll have to wait until he can farm a bottle if he wants to get more active in the lane. We'll see if he goes for that. For now, Mantis continues to... The struggle is real mid lane. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Looking at his neutral camps, hasn't stacked them at all, is getting absolutely no farm. 8-0 at 5 minutes in. And then it becomes... The question is, how do they get back into this game for the Naga? And it's got to be in the back of Teamfight. They're getting decent levels on their supports here top, but Ravage is a bit delayed, and without that, it's going to be tough to force fights.
Yeah, John, we're going to be looking for another arrow. He's got 2 points in it now, so with a Soul Catcher, that's going to be a lot of damage coming out on either of the Intelligence heroes here, neither one breaking through 700 HP. So there is a lot of potential for another kill, but it's actually going to be Puck forced back away bottom. A full static link coming out on him once again. 147 damage stolen, and he's dropped down to 200 HP. So it just shows that without that orb with mana, he's not able to really stay on the lane at all against this Razor, and that movement speed is just going to be making it so damn easy for him to keep control of this lane.
Yeah, they're still in decent shape here for me with the way the solo lanes are developing, and despite equalizing in kills, their supports don't offer as much as xGame.kz's do in the mid game.
Yeah.
Really not the same teamfight presence, but they can make up for this by just snowballing their cores, and they're on the track to do that with G. 900 gold in the bank, close to 1,000. Wonder if we just see the Midas rush for him at this point. Other main option would be the Force Staff, maybe a mech, but I imagine it'll be the Razor of BZZ building a mech if this team's going to get one. Or maybe even the Jakiro, though Stodoy is very poor, so if he's building it, it's an extremely late mech.
Yeah, the treads are also an okay option here. I mean, you get a lot of mana efficiency from using the bottle if you drop the null tally and switch over to agi treads. And if he wants to just absolutely dominate Mantis, even with only 2 points in Essence Aura, then he could go ahead and do that. And then, of course, they have some real kill potential with this Sanity's Eclipse. But
they've got
we'll
level
see.
3 Glimpse, though. Bottom lane, they've jumped in on BZZ, glimpsing him back into the kinetic field. And he doesn't have a static link going right now. Stick charges, he'll pop him, but not enough to keep him safe. Rotation comes in from Jotun, but too late to get anything done. And meanwhile, top lane, Equal's being pursued out. Yo, we'll find him with Soul Catcher. Waits for the disruption, times it well, and now Sidoi following up with an Ice Path. He can dual breath this as well. There's no more Wind Run, no way out for Equal, and will end up going down. So they get this, they get a retaliation kill, but that off lane, like pseudo support Wind Ranger, not really the best trade for your free farming Razor bottom lane.
Yeah. And now Yul's in a position where he's saying, I can dance all day. I've got these tranquil boots, and he can keep on moving out to lane after lane. They're actually going to rotate Mantis into the jungle here for a little bit, and the Tide will get that solo experience. We were talking about the delayed Ravage. Well, he's going to try to make up for that. 1, 1, and 3 is his current skill build, and I think this is going to be arcane mech type build up for him. We'll have to see. Right now, he's just kind of got this casual ring of a regen. And speaking of that, I guess the Wind Ranger does too. So one of them will build it, but in either case, there's going to be plenty of stacking here for Stallcat.
Yeah, thought we might have action bottom. Not the case, as Mantis will Riptide Jot him, forcing him a bit off this Radiant jungle. And meanwhile, that Courier's on the move, has a bottle that it wants to deliver. It'll go to Whatafaka, finally get some regen in the lane, and yeah, now heading back towards mid. But they can't really get into this jungle, Blaze, and running low on smokes at this point. They've got none left for 2.5 minutes, and after that, you're looking at about 10 minutes before you can use one again.
Mm-hmm. So an arrow will come out. Whatafaka obviously not going to get hit by that one. Clearly visible during the daytime, so Rana just using that as a last thing before she maneuvers back. She isn't going to go back to base, though. She just pops a Clarity and goes onto the side shop and looks for another angle of attack.
Top lane, Disruption's ready, but can they follow this up with enough damage? No Ravage just yet. This would be a decent time to go in on Equal. They're trying to force out this Wind Run, but he's not obliging. Now Yol says, screw it, we're disrupting now, man. Soul Catcher, all in with the nuke damage, but Wind Run will keep Equal safe.
I don't know. A lot of damage over time for that dual breath, the Soul Catcher, but he didn't stack up more than 1 Shadow Poison, so he will live 140, and he does have Magic Wand charges on top. So, yeah, very squishy hero to magical damage, but they still are not really prioritizing one particular nuke build. They're going for the max liquid fire, and that means that there is going to be a decent amount of damage in that 5-second frame, but the dual breath is where it's at.
Arrow barely connected out a creep there, and Whatafaka kind of panic phase shift, but he did it so early that if his phase shift would have worn off, and the arrow may have hit him before he made his retreat, because it's only the level 1 phase shift for now. But the creep was apparently a bit overweight and managed to catch that arrow for him. What a trooper. And now they get a Midas on OD. So you're looking at G, who is off to a great start. Now is 1k up on his own Razor, thanks to the lack of deaths and the free farm mid lane and the Midas effect kicking in. The coil BZZ, but they have no way to hold him inside of this Static Storm. It's a complete airball. Whatafaka may end up going down. They'll glimpse it back in, but that was too late. Now Reeves, he's in trouble as well. Jotun leaping forward.
Nice
trying to finish him off, and the tower not cooperating here with VP, but Reeves is giving up too much damage. 1 slash of that Razor Whip will bring him down, and they'll look for more as well. BZZ baiting with stick charges. He's got them ready to go. Meanwhile, there's a rotation from the Tide coming in, but it's a bit too late. Stallcat may go down as well. BZZ's got plus 257.
Oh.
You can't go in on that, man. Tried to get Yol, they get nothing. And suddenly, it's 3 kills for VP, and they begin to open up a big lead in this game.
3 kills, they kill a tower, and they walk away. I mean, that's absolutely incredible, the amount they were able to get accomplished there. I really love the leap in from Jotun in front of the Razor to take the tower aggro. BZZ was about half HP, Jotun had almost all available. So he was the one to take the shots, and BZZ was able to do what he wanted. So big steal, big right clicks, and they have the movement speed to pursue to no end now. With the leap at rank 2, with the drums in the phase, they're just always going to be able to get the jump on their opponents, and it's going to take some really reactive glimpses to keep them just alive, let alone put them back in the game.
You know, these supports of VP have just been so active, and this is their time to shine, this stage of the game. And for xGame.kz, their time to shine is it's on its way now. Reeves hits level 6, we saw Static Storm bottom, Equal, about to get a max rank power shot and can start leveling Shackle after that. But they will, in theory, offer their team more as this game goes on now. We'll have to see if they can hit the Shackles, if they get a good Static Storm, but their potential to win team fights should be greater with the AoE contribution and more reliable overall lockdown. So now VP will push in mid. They've got Sidoi joining them. He'll be building towards your mech, but it's a rather slow one. As the Razor will just get, as you mentioned, drums, the Aquila, just pure efficient stats for himself to try and live through this phase of the game while they keep the pressure up. Look for BZZ to rotate in now. Yeah, he's thinking about it from the high ground. Hasn't come down the hill just yet. And they'll continue the siege.
They're actually looking to converge on him, so good that he's kind of maneuvering back. Whatafaka still has Dream Coil, though, and he might get pinned down.
BZZ way out. He's got stick charges, though, and won't break the coil just yet. Turns to fight. Ravage is ready. They may have to blow this one. Disruption can't be used because Yol got zoned out by the Static Storm. Well placed as they had an Observer Ward here to spot his rotation. Otherwise, the defensive disruption could have turned that fight. Although, that being said, they did have Ravage on Stallcat, so it may have just gotten the Shadow Demon killed if he walked in too much farther. But, in the end, they get a nice kill on the Razor, and now they look for more. Ravage online, they'll song to set this up.
Oh.
This could be ugly. Ice Path,
really?
Maybe preventing this. Ravage only connecting on one hero. Yol disrupted Mantis. Well, I think wanted to disrupt himself, but they'll still pull the Mirana back in with Glimpse. Will end up going down, and does Yol make his way out? Looks like he'll escape. OD drops the hammer. They get the trade here on one and look for more as Mantis has no ultimate to run away. He'll head to the north. G caught in the Static Storm, or the Kinetic Field rather. Can't get in too close. No Force Staff to chase this one down. Can Sidoi get off a long range spell of any kind? G glimpse back. Won't be able to continue pursuit, but Sidoi and BZZ. Well, BZZ's going to hunt this one down. There's no teleport scroll. Mantis. He's got phase. He's got a drum charge in 15.
He's actually faster.
He's really going for this one.
He's actually faster when the Razor doesn't have phase boots, so just the base movement speed of the hero, absolutely insane, and it's going to be enough for the Naga to get out, but even then she's losing farm space. They have to fortify this tower, but with Liquid Fire, it's still going to be going down very, very soon, and yeah, we do see just a quick right-click from OD to finish it off. TPs are coming in, Whatafaka does have Coil, and they do get the glimpse.
Sidoi pulled back in, but the defensive disruption from Yol somehow found him from really far away, keeping him alive a bit longer as the orb comes through. Sidoi will stand against this, but a two-hero shackle by Equal. It's still not enough. They're going to lose Stallcat. They've trapped Equal inside the trees. Look at the DPS of G. He gets the Astral off, preventing this TP out, and he'll bring down one more. Actually, it's BZZ who collects the gold. And now with the Medallion up on Mirana, they may even look towards a Roshan attempt soon. Puck orbing in, but then retreating out towards the base, while meanwhile Reeves also covers his own path back.
Man.
And I think it's Rosh time, Blaze.
The reactive skill set right here is just absolutely insane. The defensive disruption right when the glimpse happens, like it happens in the same frame, so it makes it very interesting. But they follow that up with the defensive astral imprisonment, taking him out for 4 more seconds. And then, if necessary, they have the Force Staff to bail him out after that, because Dream Coil obviously expired by that point. So, yeah, Sidoi just lives through everything without a mechanism. And as you said, they go straight for the Roche. Huge wins across the board for Virtus Pro, and it seems like XGame, they just, even with ultimates, aren't so confident. We'll see Stallcat, he'll farm up a little bit here with the Anchor Smash. Chewing the Kraken Shell, he doesn't take any damage from these Ancients here. Maybe the big one hits for like 5 damage, but as a result, they should have the mechanism in a relatively quick pace. Not nearly as fast as Sidoi, who's been building it up for quite some time, but still, he'll have it soon enough.
It's a fearless invasion from VP. They're walking through a minefield of wards as well. Like, there's a Radiant Observer ward here. And G-Will, Astra 1, setting up for a potential arrow. It comes through, and it's just a second too soon. Not even a second, like a tenth of a second too soon from Jotum. The arrow was still passing through the Naga's body, but well, apparently too late in to actually stun her, and she'll make her way out. Could have easily been another kill there. And very close to being so. But they're going to defend top lane. They're not giving this up without a fight. So flips back BZZ, though. He forgot about the disruptor factor. And he'll have to push bottom instead.
Which is not a bad alternative. I think G would have handled it either way, but now then they can go ahead and just keep pushing down the bottom lane, keep farm momentum, and it seems like they already have enough to turtle here with Jakiro. He has the Macro Pyre in the worst of case, but they might look to dive. They do have the Blink Initiation, they do have the Dream Coil, and a lot of ultis online.
Yeah, it just feels like VP are just too far ahead for easy fights to be claimed by xGame.kz. They'll need a really good Static Storm. Like, just hitting that Ravage Coil, if it's only a 1 or 2 at a time with each spell, it's not going to be enough to win these fights, especially when we see those great defensive disruptions, the Astral Spirit, or not Astral Spirit, the Astral Imprisonment coming out. It's difficult. So, well, Macro Pyre, as you suggested, and Well, the creeps kind of fail to cooperate, although they do run back into it. And yeah, there's no creeps to push in.
Oh,
they're wrapping around with equal. They're committing pretty heavily onto Sadoy. Crucially, they get off a silence on Yul, preventing that defensive disruption, but Sadoy had his mech delivered, and they'll turn this one now, or attempt to anyway. G, with Aegis online, will nuke down Reeves before being glimpsed back out of the fight, so they get that kill. Arrow
nice
fishing for what a fucker. Will phase shift out of it, but still tanks the medallion. Can't finish up the Jakiro. 45 HP after that last lingering orb passes through. And now Equal's got to run too. Meanwhile, bottom lane, G still, he got sent back down, and now he's going to look to kill off someone else instead. Mantis sawing, barely lives. Barely lives. Jottam still being pursued top lane. I'll leap out. He's got an arrow turner. Oh, power shot. Not enough.
But yeah, I mean, every time they get glimpsed back, it's a little annoying, but the OD got what he needed to done in the first place, and they just got more farm down bottom. They even got some pressure on Mantis when he's barely off of his tier 3s. Getting the song out at this time, right before Mantis hits level 11, is absolutely immense. Still, he's been rushing the Radiance ever since the pickup of the Ring of Aquila, so that means that he will be picking up the Relic very shortly.
BZZ being harassed out a bit here by Naga Illusions, while G rotates down up the hill, looking for what a fuck-up perhaps with an Astral to start this fight off. He's got his ultimate online. He's picked up a Mystic Staff. The more aggressive option, not going for the ult orb and some extra HP, and now he 4 steps in. Defensive Astral, or offensive Astral there to set up an Ice Path. And they're held in place by Connect Field, but they could drop the ult. No, Static Storm prevents the OD ult from coming out, saving the life of the Wind Ranger, who now has to go all the way back to base. And this will free up Sadoy to Liquid Fire, harass the tower mid. He'll mech his team up, and with this next wave, they'll really push in hard. Ravage still cooling down for a minute. And with no glyph ready for like 10 seconds, 8 seconds, this will be a tough defense. They may just have to sack the tower. Yeah, it's going down. Deny? Beautiful deny! But may come at a cost. Defensive, or offensively Astral again. Now comes the Plasma Field, they'll kill off Reeves. 2 Hero Shackle, simply not enough to go in on this. BZZ's tanky, and he's not afraid. He walks up the hill, he's been earned up and kept alive. While Jottam stops off to plop a defensive observer ward just to scout any rotations from behind from xGame.kz. And in the end, VP take the tier 2. They get a kill in the Disruptor. There was a tower deny, but still well worth it for them, and map control continues to go their way.
Yeah, they still have 2 minutes on this Aegis, so I think they want to force this here. If G goes on the front line a little bit, he can definitely eat the Ravage and still come out okay. Like, the Mystic Staff, as you mentioned, is a very offensive pickup, but he's got 2 lives, and he's ready to use them. But up on top, we're going to see the Tide. He does have a TP, but he wants to kill the tier 1 first, or at least guarantee its fall.
These shackles, though, man. Blink. Silence now from what a fucka. Still not using the coil, so I'll have to wait 12 seconds for the full combo of spells to come out. And while he waits for that rotation, well, they're going to push in mid. They have no song for 30 seconds. Relic's online on Naga, but already the base in shambles. They'll lose their range racks. I wonder if they stick around for the melee. They've got to know Ravages up. They have to know the song's cooling down soon, but they just keep on pushing with Liquid Fire. Naga going for the bottom tier 2 tower. They're just sacking this without the song to set up. They don't feel very confident in their team fight, and they'll forfeit a lane of racks. Glimpsing back Jakiro as he retreats, but a bit too soon, I think. Gets out of the kinetic field, then gets Astral imprisoned. Kept alive by his team. Arrow. Dodged as well. And now what a fucka. Again with the blink in. Naga Radiance online, but they sacked a full lane of racks to do it. And the question will be if this is going to be enough to turn the game for Mantis and his squad.
It's a really tough call. Right now, I mean, the OD is just getting massively farmed up with the Midas Transmute coming online shortly, and that Hex or Shivas is going to be very soon coming. So yeah, the Radiance is great, and we've seen it turn the game plenty of times, but right now I kind of feel like they've already gotten so much across the map. If, let's say, Jakiro goes for a pipe, there's no doom to make him regret having both the mech and the pipe on the same hero, and suddenly they just walk up to the high ground even under the Radiance effect.
Yeah, I think pipe would be amazing this game. Radiance is one thing, there's also a lot of nukes from Puck, Wind Ranger has some spam as well, and if you get that, and you just force the high ground now, the other thing that we should mention is that OD is a fantastic counter to illusion-based carries. He instantly kills each illusion at this stage of the game with the bonus damage from his orb, so you're just going to have the main Naga, and the main Naga's pretty squishy. Once the Hex that you were talking about comes out, she'll probably be a one-shot for an OD ult plus a few orbs during that Hex time. So yeah, I'm with you, man. I think they group up mid, they get their core items, one more maybe on each hero, which Pipe is about to come out for Sadoy, so he is in fact going that route. 250 gold from now, they could just 5-man and look to end the game.
Do you think it's worth it to wait for the next Roche cycle? I assume that waiting that long would allow Stallcat to at least farm up the Blink Dagger.
Yeah, Stallcat might get a Blink, Mantis might get BOTs, and maybe a Yasha by then. I don't think I'll have too much more than that, so... Yeah, they already have Song to set up the Ravage, though, right? So it's pretty unlikely that they're going to need a Blink on Stallcat to get off a good one. But Mantis is invis, and he starts to burn Jodam. This is going to be quickly revealing his position. Jodam can leap out, Mantis will chase forward, and they'll get the glimpse back in. Jodam's now called out. But they've used a decent amount to get this initial kill. Now the Macro Pyre, Ice Path combo. They'll Song and try to retreat. There's a gem that hit the deck. Razor ult. They're not going to pick it up. They're forced to run too quickly. It looks like Mantis didn't want to drop his Quelling Blade, so they collect their gem again. Would have been nice to have versus Moonlight Shadow. And just
well, they already have one, but the second one is definitely an extra backup, and one that the enemy doesn't have either. There's a couple wards that will probably be taken out very soon, and they would have loved to have the second one, but... Even still, we see that with the Song on cooldown, they're looking much more confident to just regroup and go as 5. As far as Pipe goes, though, they're still a little bit off. 200 gold. He's going to sell the Basilius at the fountain, and he's going to get the Pipe off of that.
Well, I think it's a matter of waiting for the rush now if you're VP. You don't really want to go too much beyond that. We'll disrupt an Naga illusion here and... get an army of Radiance illusions to go their way. That's the other thing that they can use, but these disruption illusions don't last particularly long.
It depends on how this engagement mid goes. They're going to go for the D ward, and it is going to be a pretty big movement against these three heroes. But...
they do have Ravage. They've got Coil as well. G, can he get off a good defensive Astral? Can't do it! Wow. He got caught out by the Disruptor ultimate, followed up by the Ravage, brought down instantly, and now he'll buy back. They know if they fight again, there's no ultimates online for xGame.kz. It's an important time to engage. And they'll go in now with the OD, double two-shotting Reeves down. Now is the ult ready to chase Wadafuka a bit further. And he will phase shift, jumping up to the high ground as they're unable to get in range. Yo was chasing forward, then backs off and ends up getting nothing. But bottom lane is pushed in. And you gotta figure, with Jakiro about to respawn, Pipe now ready, this is the time for VP to either take Roche and then break the base, or just break the base straight away. Seems they don't want to fight the ults. They're going in now.
Yeah, so they are. They're going to go without the Jakiro, unfortunately. He just bought out the pipe, so there's no way he gets anything like BOTs to join his allies. It's going to be a 4v5 play, but all the same, the ultis are that additional hero. That's the value there.
Arrow. Oh, clipped equal. Plasma field cooling down. And
good.
Even through the silence for the puck, G might end up going down here. Defensively, Astrals, but Naga surrounds him. The kinetic field, they can't afford to lose G. Disruption. Perfectly placed still. He may go down regardless. 4 staff in 7 seconds, and it's too late. They've lost their OD. That's a dieback for G. A frustrating turn of events as they set up for more kills. The throws might be happening here. Yol gets picked off. Jodam now in trouble. Netted and held in position. They get the vision to get the kill. They might kill up BZZ as well. They're turning this one around completely. xGame.kz. Oh no. What has happened to VP?
What's Jakiro doing?
Now he runs in here, tries to throw the pipe and mech. If one's going down, you might as well give them all away. That's what they say. We're going down with the ship. We'll stick by our captain, and it's a full wipe against VP. And that was an ultra kill for the Naga.
It's an ultra throw right there. Like,
an ultra Naga.
They just got picked apart. They had such a great timing window. And now they have nothing. Oh, an ultra kill for the Naga Siren. I mean, are you kidding me? He's got 1,800 on top of the BOT's Radiance. Mantis is just flying high. This is ridiculous. The Sans Eclipse cooling down. They just don't have a timing window of aggression now. They can go for the Roche. They can go with the Aegis and the Pipe, and they have a chance, but they're far worse off than they were 4 or 5 minutes ago. There was a time where they were actually de-warding that mid ward, and that was when they had like a 5v3 where they got the Ravage, they got the Static Storm on 2. It's really, really good for xGame. But I honestly think that if Virtus Pro had just gone bottom lane right then, the Pipe was coming out on the Courier, and they could have gone even against the Ravage. As long as Song's on cooldown, the Ravage isn't a guaranteed hit on 5 heroes, and they honestly could have forced it. But then they got picked off as 2 or 3, and then they went in as 4, and then that happened.
We've seen VP throw quite a few games over the past few days, and I mean, using Virtus Throw is it's the nickname for a reason. To be fair, like this team has some great potential, but some of their losses have just been baffling. It's one thing just to get outplayed, but they'll have such a lead and then just suddenly self-destruct. Still, they do have a lane of Rax, and the Naga is not really that big, despite getting Ultra Kill. only has Radiant's BOTs at 26 minutes. Like, normally you'd look at this and say, eh, not that scary. Naga should normally have her Radiance by like that 17, 18 minute mark. BOT is a bit later. If they lose one more big fight and she gets an item and then some, then they're in a lot of trouble. But I think they have at least one more good push in them, Blaze. This time, they gotta be more stable, though. Fight with the pipe. Try not to get caught by the full combo. It's tough with Song, but they'll have to do their best to avoid it.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, they have this last row cycle is, I think, one of their last stand opportunities. I mean, obviously, getting refresher orbs on BZZ and maybe on the OD as well could be huge, but right now they just need to get the BKBs up. You see G, he's not even worrying about finishing up something with the Mystic Staff. It's a casual Mystic Staff into BKB because they just need to avoid all this magic damage, the Static Storm, the Ravage. They just need to nullify it and go in for this brute force push.
Yeah, they're being forced just to purge out illusions here, just to deal with the onslaught, and, well, y'all will hold the line mid lane, poisoning out the wave, and it shouldn't be too long before they go. I really don't want to see them sit back for much longer. BKB on G, he's got it in 600 gold. And if they want to wait for BZZs, he's got the Ogre Club only, Sadoy, Ogre Club only. So we're looking, if they want to wait for triple BKB, they're probably waiting until Naga's 1.5 more items.
Yeah.
If they go with just the one BKB, though, she won't really have anything except buyback. So I'm kind of feeling like maybe they just have to say screw it and go right now, or in like the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. This is getting down to their last few moments on Earth here, at least in control of the game. They have to really make something happen here. They're using earn charges to infuse the Razor, so obviously they want to camp out down here. They aren't going to find any pickoffs, and G is actually the opposite.
G, this can't be happening, man. You've got the Aegis. Now trapped by a net. We'll get Glimpse back, and the rest of xGame.kz. Oh, no, he Astral to dodge it. Nicely done.
He's still there.
Well, he's still there, but they can't go on him. And that'll give him a little time to regroup and collect his thoughts, reconsider his path in life, perhaps.
I mean, he's sitting here at 400 HP. They want to break the base with him, and he just can't do anything to help. I think they're out of earn charges. And
yeah, they're out of earn charges. They don't have the mech for 30 seconds, and they still want to force it. I don't know, Blaze. He's got to go heal.
Yeah, they have to heal. Get Razor's BKB. There's very minimal value in this.
They're not going to, though. They're going to wait for this mech, and they're going to push with the mech. They're not waiting. No, maybe they are. No, geez, like, okay, I'm going to Midas first. Then I'll go. Maybe he should just send 5 salves, honestly, like, just to allow them to get himself and his teammates at full HP for this fight. Although everyone else is healed up. And do they pop the mech is the question. What a fucker jumping in. Oh, maybe out a bit too far. No, he'll blink out just in the nick of time. They have not mech'd. She does have Aegis, though, and he can wait. Oh, they're going to go in now. He's got BKB in his ultimate. The question is if he saves it for life number 2. Stallcat prepping with Ravage. Static Storm's there. They'll follow this one up, but he got off the BKB, and he's going to look to turn it now. Where's that OD ultimate? He'll drop it pretty early on in the fight. Sadoy tanking through this. Nobody dropping to the combo. 2-hero Ice Pep. Macro Pyre as well. The Glimpse back, y'all. And, well, in the meantime, they lose their tide. No Ravage, no Song, no Static Storm. Equal goes down to the poison. Maybe VP can actually turn this one around the other way. After that fight, you might have thought that they'd just given up on life, but they're pushing in now, Blaze. They've got the Aghanim Scepter Razor going to work. And as the glyph ends, the real push begins. No mech for the Radiant side. Really not many ways for them to engage here. Although BZZ is a bit low. They may want to back off and just wait for him to be able to heal up, but nope, gets disrupted while glimpsed. And do they go in to protect him? BZZ caught out too far. It's too late. They've lost the Razor. That's most of their push. This might be the same movie all over again. No ultimates, but they start to chase. G still has Aegis. Arrow. Nope, hits a creep. And they'll hold the line for now. Ice Path caught out too. And they keep on pushing it. Aegis down. Well, at least they've got a second life here, but they haven't taken racks just yet. And mid lane's not pushing in quick enough. Pipe's been popped. The only the Jakiro who really kills off buildings. Ravage a minute and a half away. They won't have it for this push. Definitely not going to get a second one unless VP are forced out. And they'll focus on the range racks. At least taking one objective here. That's the goal. BKB is ready. That's how long this fight's been. G's got a second BKB charge. It's an 80-second fight, and we're not even done just yet. VP want to dance again. And xGame.kz will try to do the same. They net G, hold him in place, but he still orbs away on the Tide. Nearly finishing him off. One more auto tech will do it. He forced S to safety. Manta's chasing forward. Does he have detection here? He's got a sentry ward. He sees G. He kills him again. Can't keep on dying like that, man. Now Sadoy. Well, this is giving the Razor time to start to rejoin the fight. He's respawned and he's running down mid lane, but it's too late. They finally lost Sadoy. They'll force that freeze forward. They'll glimpse back. One shot him gets caught. Can he leap? He's got nothing. He's got nothing. And the Rax, the friggin' Rax stand, only half HP down on the ranged, full HP on the melee. Naga did not buy back. Naga has 3,900 gold. That's a Manta style ready to go. And the makings of a heart. And I just don't know if it's good enough.
I mean, they forced so many freaking buybacks that it almost might be, because they did get the buyback on the Puck, the Wind Ranger, and the Tide. But even still, like, they lost that Aegis, they lost 2 BKB charges, and I just don't know. This Naga is going to get bigger and bigger. It's going to be more and more difficult, but I don't know. They still have the mid lane. Like, there are a lot of teams that, like, they just sit there and let the Naga do her thing, and they don't actually try to contest this. I give VP props for at least trying, but those damn Racks, they're still standing. And it's still either team's game right now. We do see the BKB coming out for BZZ. The Shiva's Guard up for OD as well. So they are in a good spot in that regard, but I don't know. That fight just lasted so damn long. And it really can go either way at this point.
There's now a Yule Scepter on the way for, I believe it's for Yule. Does he have, oh, he doesn't have it completed yet. He still needs the Void Stone, but that'll be really big for him, ensuring that, no, as he's fighting these Naga illusions, has to disrupt to live, or at least not have to go to base, but yeah, he'll have a Yule Scepter to move the Puck Science and potentially to survive through the Static Storm, so I do like this pickup a lot, and it's an item he can potentially build now, which is what they need, because they know it's got to be this next fight that wins the game, and yeah, there's a Yule Scepter. Now complete. VP, maybe they wait one more Aegis plays, but this one has to be the Aegis that wins them the game, or at the very least gets a second lane of Rex.
I feel like we're going to be saying that every 10 minutes for the rest of the game. It's just like, this is the one. This is the one.
No. If they lose another one, man, like, I'm not feeling it for them at that point. Top lane.
This is BZZ. Really get glimpsed. Yes, he will.
BKB.
Nice BKB. It's unfortunately a 10-second one, but they're just look at the map. She's like, just get the hell down here. We have to do this.
Disruption forward, but there's a defensive song. This will allow the rest of them to escape, or maybe they even go in. Jumping in on Yol head. He's gonna melt. There's your gem down. Macroplier. The follow-up comes through from VP as they chase forward. Equal. Driven back the arrowhead and illusion, and well, do they continue the chase? There's a coil on 2. OD rotating in from the southern side of the engagement, has the BKB ready, but it's kind of spread out here. Now, what a fucker. Oh, don't auto-attack him, man. You're trapped in the trees. Not where he wants to be. He'll phase shift, but Ice Path will await him when he gets out. And just takes his head off with a headshot arrow. Jot him, no mercy. But do they still go in? Puck no buyback. But he's not really the most important hero, and they're going to smoke. xGame.kz. They look to get the jump here on VP. Can they jump G before he BKBs? Do they try and bait it out and then go in?
Yeah, not if they song open. If they song open, there's going to be a BKB.
No song. Oh, actually, they have it cooling down. It's the level 3 song now. They really can't do it. Like you said, it's got to be just a straight Blink Ravage, or you have to bait the BKBs. Mech pipe straight BKBs. Not quick enough, as they'll lose G's initial chance to take this fight, but then he BKBs anyway. He drops the hammer, braining one down, dropping 2 low. And the song's used defensively. Sadoy goes in with the Yules. Now Yul rejoins the fight, and they look to finish off the second lane of Rex. Glimpse back, but it won't matter. They've lost 4, and VP have narrowly averted the most catastrophic throw you will ever see in Dota 2 history. They hang on. They'll take a second lane of Rex, and even if they lose from here, at the very least, well, they've gotten themselves a good lead that they have a fresh chance to throw away.
Exactly. More lead just to make the throw more real if they make one more mistake. But at the same time, the full Rax advantage is extremely legit. At 35 minutes, even more so. It's hard to believe even a Naga could come back from this. But we'll see. This game is certainly not over yet. But yeah, they used the song very interestingly in that last fight. They actually tried to use it to single out G. Since he was the only one with the BKB active, they're like, okay, we can just focus him down. But they couldn't really get too close to him. He was still doing a lot of damage when they grouped Sanities. And yeah, he was essentially in a 1v4 mode for a short duration, and they couldn't actually man up on him. In the end, the Aegis will go to G. The Cheese will be picked up by BZZ, and they will look to the top lane.
There's a tier 2 standing in this lane, so it'll be more of a commitment for VP to get that third lane of Rax. Also, I want to point out Yol is officially balling out of control with a double gem picked up for him. He got the one from Reeves in the last fight, and this does mean xGame.kz have to be careful about Moonlight Shadow initiation. No detection on their team right now. Though they're hiding in such a way that it'll be difficult to find those openings now up into the tree line. They've learned their lessons from HY, and they're heeding them well. Though Stallcat's kind of in the middle of nowhere, vaguely surrounded by 5 heroes, but with Illusion scouting out and giving vision, this will be tough for him to get caught out, and he'll just say, screw it, I'm TPing out.
So, a lot of farm in this OD. Obviously, the hard counter to all of Naga's illusions, but Mantis is going to be building up that butterfly, and we'll be able to evade some hard auto attacks there. We're going to see the tier 2 drop easily, like they shouldn't even bother fortifying that, but the high ground, still an option as they have pushed out the other lanes pretty well. Like, generally speaking, when you're down 4 racks, the biggest issue is not just defending the last 2, but the fact that the other lanes are constantly pushing in. But the Naga's illusions are doing good work there, and it is going to make it actually a tier 1 snipe in the mid.
Yeah, at this point, it's nice gold in their pockets, and we can do a buyback check here for the Radiant. It's only Naga who's going to have it.
Ooh.
Butterfly Gold's basically ready if she wants to buy it, but I imagine buyback will be priority number 1. Arrow, once again searching, won't connect. Shackle Shot is there on BZZ, holds him in place, but has BKB. They coil for this as well. Might have been a premature coil. Now everybody BKBs, they dodge the Ravage, and that's it. There's no way they win this fight from here. They get shredded. Naga gets annihilated, and the timely BKBs bail VP out from what would have been an absolute train wreck of a loss, keeping them in a decent position to continue winning and potentially contest for that 4th spot at Starladder Lens Finals. But boys, they went to the precipice, the absolute brink of oblivion, and then they were dragged back by some timely BKB pops.
Well, I can't really know. I don't even know if I could say good game, well played to them, but they played a very interesting, entertaining, and on the edge of your seat style of Dota. So Virtus Pro taking this win over X Game. I'm sure they were favored in the bets, so there's a lot of people that are just sighing out in relief here. But yeah, this is they always keep it interesting. They find a way, even if it is going to be like a raise their death ball type lineup. They get some awesome action in the early game with the arrow combos, and it seems like hours ago with how intense these past few minutes have been, but in the end they emerge victorious.
Well, they don't call them Virtus Throw for nothing, but they have failed, Blaze. They have failed miserably in their efforts to throw this game, and with that, guys, we've got 2 more games coming your way today. The next match will be, drumroll please, Empire versus Hellraisers, then Empire versus Na'Vi. 2 more games to go. It'll be a bit of a shorter marathon today. And with that said, we'll take a quick break. You're watching Beyond the Summits coverage of Starladder Season 10. We'll return soon for that second to last game of the day. Stay with us.